And we are live on Love and Stuff on a couple of different platforms. And I am so grateful that you have joined us here live on Love and Stuff. Let's see. Right. All right. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining. I'm just typing in for our guest a quick note. All right. And thank you for joining us. I see Corey Reed, J. Gerald Harvey the fourth, our senior associate producer. Sandra Beavers is watching on various platforms. And I'm going to try to track with all of the platforms as soon as I get my guest in. I am Marcus Holmes. If you see that shine happen, that means I'm so excited. That's my sign that I'm so excited when you see it looks psychedelic. That's what that means. And so I'm so grateful that you are here to join us on another episode, a wonderful episode of Love and Stuff. We come every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. I trust that if you're in one of the states where there was voting happening, depending on what time zone you're in, that you've already voted, as the polls in some areas have closed. And hopefully you have voted your conscience. I want to remind you, in the great spirit of John Lewis, bless his memory, and in the great spirit of Herbert Holmes, you won't know him, but I do. Voting is a requirement. And so I know there are people that say I have the right to choose not to vote. I respect that. That's your choice. I just vehemently disagree. All right. So trying to help out our folks. All right. So, all right. As I'm helping them, will you help me share the link with folks that might be joining us somewhere along the way? Okay. All right. They're having trouble, J. Gerald, getting in. All right. All right. So let me see. I can just look at our Restream platform and see who is here live with us. Hope that you will jump into our comments and just say hello where you are around the world, or in Detroit, or in the Midwest, or West, or Northwest, or Southwest, or East, wherever, Northeast, Southeast, wherever you might be. Join with us. All right, just so that I can track with the chat. All right, very good. All right. All right, let's get it. Okay. All right, I think we got our guests are coming. They made it. Finally, they made it. I see faces. I don't hear voices yet, but I see faces. I hear some sound. I'm too excited.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you both?
Good.
Good. Getting you here together has been it's been a little challenge, but I'm glad that we got you. You're busy, and I understand that. So I appreciate it. To our guests that are watching, those of you who are in the Love and Stuff community, you've probably seen these faces, or maybe seen comments. I think at least seen one of their faces. But this is Michael and Coco Kemp, who recently celebrated 3 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I thought I would jump in right in. I developed a little bit of, I don't know if you follow TikTok, but they have this marriage challenge. So I'm going to ask you some questions just as our opening icebreaker before I get into the questions that I'm going to ask you. And I want you to point to the person who you think the answer is for. So you're going to point to her, Mike, or she's going to point to you, Coco. You'll point to him if you think he's the one. All right?
Okay.
Ready?
We're ready.
All right. So there are about a couple of questions. Let's see. First one, who made the first move?
I did.
So yeah, you're supposed to point. Yeah, that's what you do. You point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, that's how they go. Okay. Who was the first to declare their love?
I was.
Okay. Let's see if you both pointed. All right, because I'm kind of going back and forth. Okay, hold on. Who is more annoying? That's what you're supposed to do, Mike. Happy wife, happy life. You're supposed to point to yourself. That's right. Okay. Who is more spoiled?
I am.
Okay. All right. Who fell in love first? Okay. All right. Who initiated the first kiss?
I think we both did.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Y'all both just start moving toward each other. Okay. That's good. Who apologizes first after a fight? Okay. All right. Okay. Who is more romantic? Okay. All right. Who is more patient? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. A little difference there. Okay. Who is the better cook? Okay. All right. Who takes longer to get ready in the morning? Okay. Who is more stubborn? Okay. All right.
Fingers, can I give them two?
Who spends more money? Aha. Okay. Okay. Who is more grumpy in the morning? Okay. All right. Who spends more time on the phone? Okay. Love it. Love it. Who is more fun?
Both of us. Both of us.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who is the bigger baby when sick?
Oh my God.
Okay. Who is more annoying when they're hungry?
I am.
Okay. Who calls or texts more? Okay. All right. Who cleans more?
The lies he tells.
Okay. And the last one, who is more protective?
I am.
All right. All right. That's good. So that was our marriage challenge. That wasn't too bad, was it?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. So tell us the first thing I like for people to know, how did the two of you meet? Tell us the where, the how, the story. How did you meet?
You want to?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, we really don't know. It was through Facebook.
Okay.
We're not sure
We
who
don't
initiated.
we don't even know how we became friends.
Yeah.
We had a lot of mutual friends.
Okay.
But I didn't know her. She didn't know me. And I seen her on there. I thought she was a nice looking woman. Like, how do I know her? Because I think I know everybody, but I really don't. And I asked her out, and
he snuck in my DM, Marcus. That's what he did.
She says, I think she said yes, but time passed, and then it took a while for it to really happen.
Okay, now slow down, because she said something important. So you all met, you don't know exactly how you met online, but she says you asked her out, you got in her DM and you asked her out. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes. So your first meeting was on Facebook, right? You never met in person before Facebook, right?
No.
And did you have any concerns about meeting somebody from Facebook? Did you have any concern about meeting somebody from Facebook?
Yes.
Okay. And so what were your concerns, both of you? What were your concerns about meeting somebody here on Facebook? Because I think this is great for people who are looking for love. And I'm telling people all the time, they don't believe me, but you can find love and love can find you just about anywhere that you're open to being found or to find it. And so I'm glad people can hear that you said you all met on Facebook, you had not met in person, but what were some of your concerns about meeting somebody from Facebook or from online?
I think I was just hoping that he wasn't crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't even really open to like meeting people online. I wasn't. I just wanted to figure out like, how do I know her? Like, why are we friends? Um, I thought I would have known if I requested to be her friend. So it was like kind of interesting to see like, who are you and all of that, and it just happened. Something happened.
And
I don't know.
and so you all started talking via inbox. I mean, how, you know,
We didn't. I don't think we talked a lot.
Yeah, we didn't talk a lot. He asked me out to dinner.
Uh-huh.
I think that was his first question. He asked me out to dinner and I responded. I said, what is this, a dating site? You know, because he just came off pretty aggressive.
okay.
So we joked a little bit and then he asked me out for dinner and then we went to dinner. We met up at dinner.
Oh, okay. So let me ask this. You said, yes, I'll go to dinner with you. Did either of you do any checking, look at connections, see who you're friends with, try to do a background check, but not really a background check? Did you do any of that before you met?
We did.
So what did you do? What did you do?
I think he reached out to my coworker, the same coworker that I reached out to, which was our mutual friend.
Okay.
And we asked questions about each other. Yeah.
And you have just one mutual friend?
Just one mutual friend. At that time. It was just David.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, but like I knew David from Second Ebenezer because I grew up at Second Eb.
Okay.
But I knew him from a distance. We weren't like personal friends like that.
And he was my coworker.
And I asked him about her. And she was like, "Oh, she's a great girl," and he just going on and on. I think I remember I asked her out before, and she kind of like brushed me off, or it didn't happen, or whatever. And so this time, I thought it was gonna be the same thing almost. When we went out.
So wait, now you asked her out online, and she brushed you off?
I just think it never happened. I don't know if it brushed off. It just.
I think I brushed him off.
Oh, I don't know.
And why did you brush him off, Coco? Why was that? And slide over so we can get your face in the camera so people can see your face.
That's him hogging the phone. I just wasn't into the online dating thing. I just wasn't into guys in my inbox type of thing.
Got it. And so you kind of just ignored it, or you just?
I ignored it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second time you said, why not? And so where did you all meet?
Yeah,
where did you go? Go ahead.
Where did we meet? Our first date was at Fleming's.
Okay. And what did you think about the choice, Coco? Were you like, okay, this could work?
Restaurant. Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, I seen Michael running to his car. He ran to his car and I was sitting in the parking lot and I was talking to my girlfriend. And I seen him run to his car. You know, I had never seen him prior to that. So I was like, oh no, he's so skinny, right?
Okay.
Was not really into skinny guys, okay?
Okay.
So I told my girlfriend, I was like, oh no, he's too skinny. I'm gonna go home. She was like, no, you can stay there. If nothing more, it's just dinner. So I went into the restaurant and I seen him. We had great conversation. It's funny because he wasn't attracted to me at the restaurant and I wasn't too attracted to him either. I thought he was a nice looking guy, but he was just small for me. And then something happened.
And so before you tell me that's something that happened, because I think that's important. So before you got there though, you had seen a picture of him, right? You could tell that he was a slender guy.
Yeah, Facebook is a little different than when you see people in person. So
okay. So when you get to the table, because you saw him, you peeped him out before you went in, right? And your girlfriend said go anyway, and you went inside, right? So you get to, do you meet at the table at the counter together? You're seated together. What's the initial impression? Are you kind of just like, hi?
I was waiting for her at the bar. There's like a little bar there.
Okay.
And so when she came in, I gave her like a little hug, and we went to our table and we had great conversation.
What did you talk about?
I don't know. We talked about everything.
Yeah, some of everything.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a love talk. It was just like we had been friends for a long time. We just had a great conversation.
So you connected well, but it didn't feel like the connection initially.
No. Yes, I agree.
So I thought initially, I'm like, she's gonna be a great friend. I didn't think she was ugly. I thought she was attractive, but I didn't just think that. I mean, I was single and loving being single. So um, we talked on the phone some more. And
Now, before you leave the date, because you done left the date now. Wait, you're going too fast. You're going too fast. You got to slow down. So how did the date end? Do you walk her to her car? Do you give her a kiss on the cheek? Is that awkward because you really haven't connected? Do you not try to kiss her? How was that first date closing?
I did not kiss her.
No.
I walked her to the car. I told her that I would call her, make sure she got home or whatever. And I think that was it.
And in your mind, both of you, in your mind, were you thinking that that was it? Or were you thinking, let's try it again. Maybe we'll be just good friends. Or what was your thoughts, parting thoughts, both of you?
I thought that she would be my homegirl. I thought she was a great friend. That's what I thought.
I thought the same.
Okay, so this is somebody that you would get to know better, but you weren't going to be going on dates.
Yeah, I just thought that and there's nothing that she did or anything. I just wasn't looking for a girlfriend. I was looking just for, to have fun or whatever and go out. That was it.
And so what about you? Were you looking for a boyfriend? What was the purpose?
I was not. I think at that time it was just something to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just something to do for me.
Okay. So just kind of meeting somebody new, hanging out, and
yeah.
No real agenda around it.
No.
And now maybe friends. So what shifted? What is it about Coco, Michael, that shifted you? And Coco, I want you after him to answer. What shifted? To me, you're both handsome, beautiful people, but chemistry is something that has to be or it isn't, right?
Yes.
But what shifted from that first date? What happened?
So we were talking on the phone.
Every day.
And I was working at the casino and I got a break every hour. And I would call her on my break.
Every hour
I would call her, we would talk.
And so is this still somebody that's just your friend?
Yes.
Yeah, this is my friend. So
I got friends, but I don't call them every hour. So I'm just wondering. Okay.
But see, and I was working from 8 to 4 in the morning. So I didn't have no friends that's woke at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Got it.
So she was always sleepy, but she was, answer the phone. And I was sick at the time. And she would say like, oh, I feel so bad for you. Like, leave work and go to the doctor. And it was like she was caring for me. She was caring more about my health than I was. And so I think at that moment, it switched.
And when you say it switched, what switched?
My feeling
okay.
From her being just my homegirl to let me see if this could be my girlfriend.
And can you describe that switch? What is that? What is that like? Because you found somebody who can talk to you about anything probably, and you can talk to her every hour on the hour. And now you're finding out that she's more concerned about your well-being than you. That's part of the switch. What describe the switch for us?
So and then one of the things that I was into was I wanted to see how my son would react to her as well. So when I got attracted to her, my other concern was, will my son like her?
Okay. And I want you to slow down. The when I got attracted to her part, when did that happen?
Probably the second date.
Okay. So that's what I'm trying. You skipped over that kind of. It was kind of like we was friends and we was talking every day, but you were attracted to this friend, right? Something shifted. It wasn't that you learned more, that she was more than just a beautiful face. What shifted in this to now I'm attracted to you? And how did you communicate that to her or not?
The second date, I felt like we had been like together my whole life. You know what I'm saying? We were just like clicking. We was clicking. And at that point, I did want to give her a kiss. Mm-hmm. And so I said, do you mind if I kiss you or something? And she was like, okay, that's cool. And so it went serious, I think, from there. You think it went serious from there?
Mm-hmm.
And so this was date number 2. How long after the first date was the second date?
About a month. Was it a month? Like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah.
About a month, you all. And in between, you have been talking every day.
Mm-hmm. Every day, all day.
Every day, all day. Mm-hmm. And then you go on this date and you're like, wow. So Coco, what about you? You know, initially you said, hey, he's kind of on the thin side. When did it switch for you?
I'll agree with him and say about the second date. Mm-hmm. About the second date.
And what would you say? What is it? What was it that switched?
I don't know. I just had I wanted to help him. He was really sick at the time. Mm-hmm. And it was just something I just really wanted to help him get better. Mm-hmm. And I think that drew us closer together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And you were going to say, Michael, about your son, you wanted to kind of test and see how they would connect and get along. So how did that go?
I said to her on the second date that if we make it to 5 dates, that the 5th date, our kids would meet. Mm-hmm. Because if my son didn't like her, then it's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. And if her kids didn't like me, it's a waste of time. Mm-hmm. So date number 5 comes along. And my son is very quiet. They don't really talk. And I said, you like her? He was like, yeah, she cool. You like her kids? Yeah. And then her kids clicked with me. And that was pretty much.
He's skipping over something.
What I'm skipping over?
I would allow him to come over to my house, but he couldn't see my kids.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we were dating for a while before he was able to see the kids. So, you know, he would come over and then he would have to leave before they got up. You know, things like that. And he was actually about to break up with me because of that.
Yes.
Because he thought you should be showing him your kids sooner than you were ready to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we had made it 5, but yeah, it was like, you know, it's 3 o'clock, you got to go. And I'm like.
Because the kids had to get up and go to school, you know, so.
Right. And so everything went well with the kids. At what point, and how long have you been dating at this point? Because you said 5 dates, so over the course of what? How many months is that?
I don't even know.
It was probably 3 months.
Okay, so over the course of 3 months, you've had 5 dates. The kids are getting along with you all. Did the kids meet each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all had went on a date.
So you went on a family date. It went well. At this point, what are the two of you thinking about this relationship? Are you thinking this could be marriage? Had you talked about marriage at 3 months? What is happening at 3 months after you find the two of you click? She really cares about your well-being and health. You're attracted to her. She's attracted to you. Your kids connect with you and with each other. What are you thinking at this point?
So one of the things that I did at probably about the 5th date, I told her that before, you know, I had other females that I was talking to, and
you had I didn't want to leave. That you were talking to before you started dating her. That you stopped talking to when you started dating her.
Yeah, but I didn't like completely stop. I wasn't like seeing them. You know, I had like stopped talking to them, but I never told them like, I'm a girl, and you know. So I told her that, you know, I had some loose ends to clear up.
He did.
And that's what I'd done. And I said, that's what I want this to work out. And I don't want to lie, you know, and cheat and all that. So I cleared up some loose ends. And that's when I think that after I did that, it really started moving forward.
And so is this at the 3-month mark when you say, I'm clearing up loose ends and I'm going to make this exclusive? Is that when you're starting to think, what is this now? What are you all, is this marriage? What are you starting to think?
I didn't think marriage because of, I didn't think that she was ready to be married. I think because she had been married before, and she was this independent woman, and I don't need a man, that type of stuff. So I thought, like, even if I asked her, she gonna say no because she'd been married before, and I didn't think that she wanted to go through that again.
But you wanted to marry her at this point?
Probably so.
Okay. And so Coco, you have been married before, independent woman. Is that a fair characterization? Is he characterizing it correctly? Okay. And so you were not thinking that you would want to marry him, or were you?
I don't really know at that point, because I knew I didn't want to get married again because I never wanted to go through another divorce.
Okay.
So I was kind of on the fence about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 3 months in. And I believe he proposed 4 months in.
Okay. Before I get to the proposal, because this is 4 months, some people would say, whoa, that's moving fast. Some people would say, that's just right on time. Well, let me go to the comments just to see who's hanging out with us. Timothy Brown Sr. is here. Jan Holmes Boyd is here. Thank you so much. Tammy Johnson, Michael Flanoyle, Corey Reed, thank you so much. Taj Crown Robinson, thank you so much. Tawana Whitley Pettis, thank you so much. Autumn Nicole, thank you so much. All of you for joining. I hope you will click, share, and tag some folks to join us. We're talking with Michael and Coco Kemp, who just celebrated 3 years of wonderful wedding bliss. And so we're almost to this proposal at 4 months, which is that soon in your mind? Are you the kind, Mike, that if I'm ready, I know what I won't go? Is that a fair characterization of who you are? Or does 4 months feel like that was fast?
Well, I thought that she possessed the quality that I was looking for. I don't believe that there's a certain time limit on love. Okay. So I had, talked to her about marriage. So even when I proposed, it wasn't like a surprise, and she was like, I had no idea. We had discussed it prior to it.
So you have been talking about marriage in the context of the two of you getting married, right? And so what is that conversation like? What are some of the things that come up in a marriage conversation for the two of you?
Well, it's funny because
my name.
Huh?
The conversation with name.
Oh, so I went to my stepkids at first, and I told my stepdaughter, and she was like crying and boo-hooing. And my stepson is like, well, I don't want to change my last name. For me, I don't know, like, because we were spending like every day, every second together. If I went home, as soon as I got home, she's like, why are you home? Like, why are you not over here? So it was, and I felt like I wanted to be over here, but, I wanted to play the man role and be at home, and, but I really didn't want to be at home, but just playing mind games.
Okay. And so what are some of the things that you talked about? Did you talk about finances? Did you talk about where you would live? What are the things you talked in preparation for this? What did you
talk about? Nothing but getting married.
And in hindsight, would you have talked about other things that you didn't talk about, that maybe you feel like you should have talked about?
We talked about a lot of those things during the engagement, because we were engaged for a year. So a lot of those conversations came up during the engagement.
Got you. And so walk us to the proposal at month number 4. So you all had talked about marriage. Was she expecting that you were going to propose when you proposed?
Yes.
No.
We need to do that again.
I was with a client when he proposed. So I was down working with a client, and I had no idea that he was going to do it that day. I knew it was coming soon, but not that day.
And just a bit of context, Coco, a client, tell us a little bit about your business.
Oh, I had a salon that was at home. in that particular, yeah, I had a salon that was at home during that time.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so you proposed while she had a client. So had you planned it that way? What was the plan and how did it happen?
I actually took my stepdaughter to. We bought like flowers and some. I think
Teddy
balloons.
bears,
Yeah, it
balloons
was.
and stuff.
Yeah, we bought all those stuff, and I called her upstairs during the middle of her doing nails, and she said yes. Then my stepdaughter started crying again. Um, and that's about it.
And so did you get on one knee?
I did.
You make me pull all the facts out, Mike. You got
Yes,
Yes.
I see. Yes, I did. I got down on one knee.
upstairs and you got on one knee and you asked her to marry you and she said yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Coco, were you surprised?
I was surprised that he did it that particular day, yes. Because I was with the client. So then I was nervous and shaking and I had to go back downstairs and continue working. And that was a little difficult. But
And did you cry?
did I cry? I don't think I cried because I had a client. So, I had to be tough,
You had to keep
So,
it together. Okay.
yeah.
And so you all decided that you would be engaged for a year. How did it come about that you decided a year?
I don't know how we came up with the date.
I just felt like it was the engagement. The proposal was so short after we had met. And I said, at least let's do a year engagement. And it takes a year to pretty much plan a wedding anyway. So I said, let's do a year engagement.
Okay. And so you figured that would be a time for you all to get to know each other even more. Been dating for a little bit. And so during that engagement, did you do counseling with the pastor? Did you all do counseling with someone else? Did you just get to know each other? What was your method of having those discussions?
Yeah, we did a whole lot. We did counseling with people we shouldn't have counseled with.
We did why say that?
Because some people were friends that we did counseling with that they were just trying to be nosy. I didn't even believe in counseling before I met Coco. And now I believe in counseling.
Yes.
But I just thought that we love each other. We don't need to have counseling. Like love gonna conquer all that.
Mm-hmm. And Mike, had you been married before?
No.
So this was your first marriage. So you really didn't have an idea of that for yourself.
No.
Let me segue from that to ask, what was your ideal of marriage based on, now Coco had been married before, so she had some idea around marriage, but what was your parents' marriages like or other marriages that you saw, and how do you think that influenced your idea of marriage?
Well, my parents were, they probably got divorced when I was an infant or something. So I don't remember any good memories of them being together. My grandparents were married like 50 something years. But they were just married. It wasn't like no love and bliss. They were just, we together. I had something in my head that, it'll be like this, but that's not true. So, but I wanted, like I told her, I wanted to make it work. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to give it all I had. I wanted to be faithful. And I didn't believe in counseling, but I went to counseling because she thought it was a good idea. So I was like, okay, we'll go.
Mm-hmm. And Coco, having been married before, what were your ideas, concerns, challenges around being married again? Because you had been in a marriage. What was your vision like at that time for marriage?
I think at that time I felt like I had an advantage because I had been married before. So in my mind, I thought like I knew, everything that it would take to keep a healthy marriage and things like that. But, I had to realize that each person was different. So, this marriage is different than my last marriage. So.
Mm-hmm. So was there anything that you were determined not to have occur in this marriage that occurred in the last one?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
I think for me it was cheating.
Okay.
I didn't want to deal with that whole thing again. So
Fidelity. Okay.
yeah,
And hearing that, Mike, what did you all have conversations about fidelity?
a whole lot of them.
That's her number one thing.
Okay. And when you say number one thing, that's the number one part of the vow that if you break, she gonna break you. Is that what you mean?
That part.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you all had intensive discussions about that. And did that put pressure on you, having been single all this time? Did that put pressure on you about disciplining yourself quickly?
Well,
This is the first relationship. Well, this was the first relationship that Michael has ever been in that he's never cheated. So that was really big for him.
Yeah.
yes.
So you were a bit of a ladies' man, fair statement. Okay. And so what did you do that made you say, I'm going to discipline myself so that I don't do something that I know is the number one thing that would rock this marriage? What did you do?
Well, my first thing is that I made a vow to her and God, to be a good husband and not to cheat. And then I knew that, even today, I know if I cheated on her, he would be messed up and we would never get over it. So I didn't want to even go down that road.
Okay. What are some of the other things that you wanted at that point in that year of engagement to be a part of your marriage that maybe you discussed? Did you discuss having businesses? Did you discuss more children? Did you discuss school? What were the things that were a part of your marriage journey that you were discussing before you got married?
Well, I discussed that I wanted to have multiple businesses. One of them would be real estate property, to leave to the kids or something as a something for our family. You know what I'm saying? So I explained to her that I didn't want our kids to go through working their whole life for somebody else, and that type of thing. I also know what it means to her to have her own salon. So that was a big thing that, I wanted her to get a salon and have her own. There were a lot of things that I wanted to do. But I had to start with me first. Mm-hmm. So before we got married, even when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, I was working on my credit, paying debt off, trying to do the same thing for her, telling her, we're not going to live on credit cards and that type of stuff, because money is a big issue in marriage or the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that you both came into the relationship with different mindsets around money, or you pretty much had the same mindset around money?
I think different. And just because I struggle financially a lot of my life, I thought that you were supposed to live paycheck to paycheck. I thought that credit cards meant I could spend more money. So once I kind of figured it out, I expected her to do the same thing. So
I think our priorities were different when we were engaged, because I had children. I was a single mom. So I had a whole house to maintain, car note, insurance, stuff like that. As to him, he was just worried about himself at the time. So he could do things a little bit more freely. So we were a little different there because I was more focused on paying bills and doing this. And I got to do it. I have nobody else to depend on. Where, he was just free with his.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you could write a vision statement or had a vision statement for your marriage going into it, what was your vision of your marriage? What was your vision going into it?
I think we had this thing. What was it? Team Kemp? Or
Yeah, it was
we're
just
doing it for the team.
yeah, we just we it. I mean, because of I wanted my family to be something that I envisioned that I wanted as a kid.
Mhm.
So that's how I wanted my family to be. So everything that we focused on was
Our
for
family
our
and
family.
kids and
Yeah.
business and stuff like that.
Okay. And has that vision shifted or changed any, expanded?
It gets stronger every day.
And what
Things
makes
I
what
used
makes
to
it
say no
strong?
to, yes to. um, I mean, I think that as the marriage, now I'm going too far now. So,
Okay.
no, I'm saying like he gonna ask me something like you too far down the line. I think that like now, I think it's smoother now than it was in the beginning of marriage.
Okay. And what was not so smooth? Can you describe what wasn't smooth?
Well, we had issues with communication.
Mm-hmm.
And when
Yes.
you say that, Coco, what do you mean by that?
He was not a communicator. He's better now. Anything that we had an issue with, he would just want to brush it off to the side. He really didn't want to deal with it. But now he's a lot better.
And so what are some of the type?
Finances, finances, me talking to him about being emotional, things like that. Look,
She said I'm not emotional.
he's
Is
better.
that a fair statement or no?
Definitely fair.
Do you think it requires you to bring some emotional presence to your relationship? Is that a requirement?
I mean, I I think that it is. I don't have it. I'm not an emotional person.
It has it ever been a requirement in any of the other relationships? Maybe that's
No,
a
for that for you. No.
No.
so it's taking some practice for you to bear how you feel with your wife. Is that
Yes.
the statement? Okay. All right. So I would imagine that would be something that would be pretty big in the beginning.
Yes,
Yeah.
it still is.
Because if you're upset about something, you kind of just keep it in and it just
No, I am.
I was thinking
If
of Michael. Does he kind of keep it
Oh,
in and
so,
manifest itself in other ways? Or
yeah.
okay.
if I'm upset, I just keep it to myself. If she's upset, I try to go to sleep, and she's like, "Oh, we need to talk. We can't go to bed like this." But I don't know. I've always been like that.
Yeah. And it probably finds its way in something else, right? If you
I'm
don't,
sure it does.
yeah, I'm sure it finds its way. But you're saying that's one of the things that has gotten better. What are some of the other things that may be smoothed out as time has gone
on?
Finances are one too.
Yeah, finances is big.
Yeah.
So when you say big, just for us that are listening, Tabitha Goodner just joined us, Marilyn Hamilton Nelson just joined us, Sunu Luke has joined us, who I think is from overseas. Thank you so much. For us that are listening, when you say finances are big, what do you mean finances are big?
Go.
I think because when we got into this marriage, I had the idea that we would do everything 50-50. But I don't know, somewhere in Michael's head, he thought that I wanted him to pay all the bills. Um,
And
I just thought,
is that what you wanted to do? Is that what you wanted to do, or that's what you thought she wanted you to do?
No, I don't. I mean, I believe in 50-50, but 50-50 doesn't work because I think that I make more money than she does. So
no.
now, and that's you can't be 50-50 because some person gonna feel different because me giving 100 on food is nothing, but it might be something to her giving $100 on food. So I think not.
So was your vision of the marriage that you would do 100% when you first started, or what was your vision of the marriage?
His vision was 50-50.
Yeah, my vision was 50-50.
Okay. And what happened? What challenges arose from that? Or did you all have trouble keeping the 50-50 agreement?
No,
No.
You think?
Huh?
I mean,
Somebody say something.
We didn't have a problem with keeping the 50-50, but again, you know,
I think in his mind, he felt like that a man should pay the majority of the bills, but that's not what he was going to do.
So he thought he should be doing it, but he wasn't intending to do that.
That part, yes.
Okay. And why is that, Michael? You thought that that's how it should be, but you were like, I'm not going to do that. Well, where did that come from?
Because I think that in my mind that, she works, she get money, that why would I pay all the bills or whatever the case may be? And then she has a check that's free and clear.
So you were willing to do 50-50, but not really. It's not the theory that you believe in.
It ain't gonna never be 50-50. But that's what our agreement was, but it's never been 50-50.
Okay.
I think it was a little spoiled, Marcus, in the beginning, because I didn't require for him to pay any bills in the beginning.
Okay. And
when
you say any bills, are these the bills that you brought into the marriage?
No, these were like house bills, because Michael moved in with me when we got together.
Yeah.
Before
we were married.
So you moved in. When did you move in?
A little bit after the engagement.
Okay. So at 5 months, 8 months, 10 months?
About 6 or 7 months, maybe.
Okay. So 6 or 7 months. How did your kids feel about him moving in?
Ooh, they were okay with it. They really took to him. So they were okay.
Okay. All right. So now, you've moved in. Are you feeling some kind of way moving in? Michael feeling like she has the upper hand?
No.
No. Okay. So you were good. And this 50-50 was never going to be 50-50, but
at that time she paid probably all the bills because my
he was working part-time, right?
Yeah, I was working part-time, but I mean at that time I was working part-time and then doing the funeral home. And my motto was, I'm not paying a woman's bills that's not my wife.
Horrible.
And so, but you were willing to live with her.
I didn't say I was right. I said that was my motto.
Got you. No, I was just asking the question. No judgment. I was just, you were you would live there, but not gonna pay her bills. Got it. But after you married her, you'd be willing to pay all her bills if that were the case.
He pay all the bills now.
Okay. Okay.
So,
all right.
The majority of them.
Okay. And so I can see that, what are some of the other things that may have had to smooth over? Because I can see finance being a big one.
Infidelity.
We talked about that.
No. That I've never cheated on her, but it still has been a problem.
So when you say it has been a problem, what is the it that you're referring to? Is the it your ability to discipline yourself? Or
no,
what's the it?
From her past hurt, from past relationships she's had.
So do you mean that she's insecure?
Yes, like, she's been in past relationships or marriage or whatever that she's had guys that cheat on her. And so that's something that I had to deal with. That I felt like I didn't have to deal with.
When you said you had to deal with it, what did you have to deal with? What happened?
Just bringing it up in conversation, yes. I think.
So do you frequently remind him, you better not cheat on me?
No, not. I mean, if he does something that he has an issue with communicating and telling me like, okay, hey, babe, I'm gonna go here. You know, I'm not gonna be home at 6. I'm gonna go here. I tell him oftentimes he moved like he's still single sometimes.
Got it.
And you have to communicate with me. It's not just about you anymore. You're in a whole marriage, and it's okay to run things by me like I'm going to do for you if my plans change or something. So I think that's the issue because he feels like he doesn't have to.
Got it. And Michael, is that because you've never had to, or is that because you're a grown man and why is somebody asking you where you're going?
That part.
Marcus is reading my mind.
I'm just trying to figure out. I think people that are listening, it's going to be important because a lot of people want to have the love that you all have. You know, I look at your pictures and I've of course not trolled your page, right? But I've looked at different segments of your marriage over these years that you've been around love and stuff, and you do really seem to love each other. There is no perfection in love, I believe, except God, who has the total capacity for love, and trying to grow our capacity for love. So that's the only way we're going to look more like perfection. So anybody that's in love is going to be imperfect. But it's important for people to hear that one person is saying, hey, I need communication. And it's normally the women, fellas, but one person is saying, I need you to communicate. And the other person is saying, but I'm a grown man. And you don't ask a grown man why you came home at 6:45 instead of 6. I'm the dragon slayer. I'm out here doing it. I'm doing everything. I'm never going to do anything that's going to dishonor you. Just trust me. But we have to do a better job of communicating that, especially if you've come from a situation where there might have been some broken covenants, broken promises, so that you are the most secure, because part of our role is to make you feel safe and secure, both physically and psychologically and also spiritually. But in that moment, we're thinking, but I'm a grown man. What do you mean? Check in with you. And I'm wondering, I'm sure there are other brothers that are probably some that are married that aren't going to say it in the comments. They'll probably inbox me. But I'm wondering, what would you say to Coco, to brothers that feel that way? They love their wives, but they don't want to. Why am I checking in with you? What's the check-in about?
You know what? It's not so much a check-in thing, I feel, because I do the same for him. Like he'll call me and he'll be like, hey, babe, where you at? I have no problem with answering his question, you know, where I'm at. But if I call him and say, hey, where you at? He's like, why are you questioning me? And I'm like, doesn't make sense. Oh. Just give me the same thing that you're expecting from me.
Her where you at, Marcus, is I can say I'm at Kroger. And then she goes a step. Well, what's in the buggy?
No.
I told you I'm at Kroger. Like, why do you need to know what's in the buggy?
Why are you being extra? He's being extra, Marcus.
So
wait, I want to make sure. Are you just adding extra fluff there, Mike, or is that?
Listen,
he thinks so nosy.
My wife is going to be an old lady
in the
window, looking out the curtains at what the neighbors are doing. Okay. So she wants to know like my complete day of the breakdown. She thinks that's communication. I think like
some of the stuff just be me having conversation with him, Marcus, honestly. Like, hey, you know, I'll call him like, hey, babe, what you doing? I hadn't talked to him all day. Like, hey, babe, what you doing? He'd be like, I'm working.
And let me ask you this, Mike. When you were working 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., were you all talking about the same stuff? What you doing, what you got on, what you're wearing?
Yeah.
So that's something that you built a history of already doing, right?
Mm-hmm. I did.
So now, if you deviate from it, it's kind of like, well, why are you changing up? We used to talk about everything. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about that extra stuff. Sometimes it might have been, 3:30 in the morning, and you call her and say, what you doing? And she said, I'm just laying here. Well, what you laying where? What, you might ask intricate details that only matter to the two of you.
Right.
So you just got to keep that in mind, maybe. Let me go to the comments because there are a couple of questions, at least one question here. Nicole, they've been married 3 years. April Sheard has joined us. Nicole Baldwin, Andre Green, Tosh Crown. It says, consistent communication is key and understanding. Okay, thank you for that. So yes, they've been married 3 years. Supersize, congratulations, Army of One. I commend you for finding love in each other. Yes, absolutely. let me pivot a little bit and ask you, what it's kind of related to the infidelity. Do you have, Mike? This is for Michael. Do you have fear around infidelity?
No.
Okay, all right. And Coco, do you have fear around his ability to be faithful?
No.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. All right, let me ask you, Coco, what do you love most about him? And tell me then, what do you like least?
Ooh. What I love most about him is that he has a heart for people. I think that's what I love the most about him. The least thing that I like about him, he's a little junky. He's a little bit on the junky side.
Okay, okay,
But he's working on it. He's getting better.
okay. And Michael, do you agree that you're a little bit on the junkie side?
Only on my side of the room.
Yeah, that's true. On his side of the room.
Okay, okay, all right. Okay, and Michael, what about Coco? What's the thing you love most about her, and what's the thing that you like the least?
She is like, when we clicking and she loves me. Like, I know that, like, she is, I can't describe her, like, when it's a good day and perfect day, like, I feel like nobody loved me like my wife loved me.
Okay. And what's the thing that you like the least?
Or calling me, asking me where you at, what you doing, and all that.
Do you consider that nagging?
Yes.
Most men do, Coco. Most men believe that that's nagging because they think that you're nitpicking every little place that they go. It makes them feel that you feel that something that they're doing is suspect. So then they start questioning every question that you ask. Okay. So do you fight? And how do you apologize and make up?
Yes, we fight.
13.
Yeah, we fight.
Yeah, we fight.
And what do you fight about? What's your biggest fight been?
Communication.
And is that you didn't tell me how you feel, or you won't talk to me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm a communicator. And I know it's probably not a good thing, but I try to pull a conversation out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's probably not the best way to handle him, but I'm guilty of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you a tip that I gave on one of the gratefulness journey moments that I think you tested and tell me if it works.
Okay.
Whatever it is that Michael really loves doing, wait until he has finished doing that and then talk to him.
Okay.
So whatever that is, whatever it is, if football, now if his team loses, don't do it after the team loses. But if it's football and his team wins, right after. When he's in the best mood.
So I'll do it after.
She only say I'll talk about funeral home. She's like, you gonna talk about the funeral
service?
Yeah. That's when you should do it. When he's because when a man is done or enjoys something that he really likes, that's when he's more open, and that's when he's less likely to ask you a bunch of questions about what you're asking. He's gonna be less defensive. Try it.
Okay. I'm gonna let you know how it works.
Please do. All right, Brenda Landry has joined us. Thanks so much for coming. Okay, so your biggest fight was about communication, and how do you apologize and make up?
Usually we had this big old breakup and we don't like each other, and
it'll last for about a day or two.
I'll text or call, she'll text or call, and again, she's more the communicator. So I can say, like, I don't want to be married, and she's like, okay, I'm cool, just let me ask you a question, and then that one question, and then we back together.
Got it. And in that breakup time, does that mean that you sleep separately or you turn your backs to each other? Are you talking during dinner? What?
So in the beginning, I would get mad and I would go downstairs and I would just sleep on the couch. That drove him crazy. So we had a conversation about that and we agreed that we won't do that anymore. So now, if we get into it, I'm on one side of the bed, he on the other side.
I ain't sleeping on no couch. I'm too old for that.
Okay. And is it the silent treatment? You all give each other the silent treatment?
Oh, he's pretty hard. He's pretty tough. So he can be silent for a while. It's typically me breaking the ice with us, whether it's being silly and doing something crazy, like, babe, give me a kiss. I don't want to be mad no more. I don't want to fight, that type of thing.
Okay.
And then I'll break.
You're the one that makes up.
Always.
Always.
Okay. A couple of times. A couple of times. How many times have you did it? Maybe twice, 3 times.
I don't know.
What would you say is the biggest myth about marriage? What did you go in thinking about marriage that you found out is not true? What's the biggest myth?
I mean, I think that the fairy tale of marriage, that, just I love her and she loves me, and that's all it takes. Marriage is a job, and you have to work on it. So, Coco we've been to counseling. She believes in counseling even if nothing wrong. She's like, we can go to counseling so when something go wrong, we'll know how to handle it. And I was never into that. I thought if you went to counseling, you was crazy. But yeah, marriage takes work. But anything that's, worth having to take work.
Coco, anything to add to that?
I pretty much agree with him, what he said.
Okay. And what would you then say is the greatest truth about marriage? I know you said that it's hard work. Any other great truths that you've learned about marriage so far?
I just feel like when I get home and my wife is here and, home cooked meal, I mean, it's just, you have somebody there for you, you know what I'm saying? So just know that somebody has your best interest at heart. It's worth it all. Yeah,
I like that. One of the pictures I used in the promo, there's a caption, I think, that you put, Coco, that he has my back and I have his. And face your position where you have his back. And is that kind of a mantra of your marriage, would you say?
Yes, now. Yeah. Definitely now. Yeah. I think we had to, come to that understanding.
So is that
work?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said it's just work. It's work.
Yeah.
Marriage is work.
Is that your greatest truth? What's your greatest truth about marriage?
That it's hard and it's work. Yeah, I would say that's my greatest truth.
I want to pivot slightly and ask you, how do you balance your marriage and business?
We're still working on that.
And so tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that come up. I'm sure time is a challenge, right? We learned that last week because you couldn't do the interview, right? You were with the family.
Yeah.
And so I imagine there are many times that you get the call, Michael, and you have to go and be with the family when you had planned to go home or something else. So how do you balance that? How do you balance that as a doing your, now, are you debuting a nail polish? Did I see that, Coco?
No, so I've been doing nails for about 18 years. I've always been home-based, but I'm opening a full salon.
Okay, I thought I saw a line of nail polish. No, you're not coming out with a line of your own?
Not yet, but it's coming soon.
Okay.
I also work a 9 to 5. I work in pathology.
Okay, so how do you balance this side hustle, full-time job, other businesses, and a new marriage? Because 3 years is still a pretty new marriage. So how are you balancing all of that, and parenthood? How are you balancing all that?
Me and Michael and I spend a lot of time together once our day winds down, which is about maybe 7 or 8. So we do a lot of, stuff around the house. might catch a movie, watch something on his phone, social media, or something like that. And then we just have to set time aside. Like, he'll step away from the funeral home for a second. I'll take some days off work. And like, we just went to Chicago last weekend.
Yeah. We try to travel a lot.
Yeah. So we try to balance it, but it's work.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges that come up with you trying to balance it?
Well,
I got mad at him the other day because we were going to my aunt's retirement party. We're in the driveway. We're leaving out to go to her party, and he gets a death call, so he has to go. I'm like, you can't find anyone else to go pick up this.
Yeah, that has been challenge. I mean, even during the COVID season, that was really a pandemic. When the numbers were high, like she would go in the downstairs bedroom and stay away from me. Cause she's like, your phone is depressing and my anxiety is high. And I was always like taking a nap and I had to get back up, and I used to think that everybody, was okay with death and everything. Not realizing that, my wife is a little sensitive. And so she stayed away from me for a little while. She was sleeping downstairs and I understood it. But my phone was just ringing.
Wow. And so does that, because then I guess you don't go to the funeral home often then, do you, Coco?
I wasn't going often during this COVID pandemic. I didn't go there often, but before I would go help him out. And, he had a couple clients that needed, their family member nails done. I would do that for him. I used to be up there more frequent, but not right now.
Because of the COVID.
Yeah. But I also didn't have an outlet because I work in pathology. So I was seeing it at work every day. And then when I come home, he was getting all the calls. Mm-hmm. So I needed a break from him for a second. So, I would tell him just, you got to go in another room and take those calls. It was just too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how did that land on you, Mike, that she had to kind of take a break? Were you okay with that?
I respected it. I think at that time I actually had a phone that was hooked up in the house that,
oh my God,
it was hooked up with the funeral home phone or something. So when it rang, it was the funeral home line. It was something crazy, and it just got to be too much. And is the phone still here?
It's still here, but it's not working. I cut it off.
So, and then some of the people during the COVID season were friends of hers.
Yeah.
And so they had passed away, and she was kind of a little emotional about that. So I respected it. But it was a wild couple months.
Yeah, I asked that because you've admitted that you're not as in touch with your emotions maybe as you might need to be. So I wondered how it landed on you. Maybe you didn't see it as big an issue, even though for her it would be a big issue, and maybe for you it wouldn't. Maybe you just compartmentalize it and kind of let it go.
Yes, that's you're probably right about that.
Okay. What advice would you two give a couple that's getting engaged? Especially one that, because you guys met online, which I love, I absolutely love, because I want people on Facebook and the Love and Stuff community who say, oh, meeting somebody online is just treacherous. And I'm like, no, you got to be open, but you got to pay attention too, because there's a lot, that can go on, but you got to be open first and foremost. If you're not open, love can knock on your door and you're going to miss it every time if you're not open. So I love that you met on Facebook. You became fast friends, and then the attraction came, which has to come right for you to move on. And then 3 and 4 months you're getting engaged, 6 months you're moving in together, a year later you're getting married. What advice might you give to couples that are maybe getting engaged or at the point where you were when you were dating 3 or 4 months? What would you tell them?
I'll let you answer that.
I'm going to say, big marriage, little wedding. Focus on your marriage and not just the day. but that day comes and goes very quickly. And so it's a process. It's it's things that I do, that I'm like, let me do it because I don't want to hear my wife's mouth. I've been like again, counseling. I never believed in counseling, but I would do it just so she would be happy that I went. So it's a lot of sacrifice, I think. So you got to be willing to sacrifice.
Okay. What about you, Coco? What advice would you give them?
Be patient. You definitely have to communicate. You have to have an open mind in marriage. I think, yeah. And what the rest of what he said. But be patient is important too, because you have to have a lot of patience in marriage.
Taj is saying, I can relate with having a sick father and several relatives passed away due to the COVID. Okay. Thank you for that, Taj. She says, I agree on the focus on the marriage, on the big marriage, little wedding. If you had any of this to do over again, would you do anything differently?
Me first. I probably would have wanted to meet her sooner.
Oh, give me kissy.
No. We on TV.
Okay, you're married. You can do it on TV.
Tell them, Marcus, we have papers, okay?
Right. We love to do that in Love and Stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I probably would have wanted to meet her sooner.
Okay. Anything else?
I wouldn't change anything, I guess.
So you wouldn't have dated longer. You wouldn't have had a shorter engagement. You wouldn't have. Would you have introduced the kids to him earlier? Would you have moved in later? None of that. All of that the same.
No, I think everything happens in divine order. So I like the way everything played out.
All right. So I want each of you, as my last question, what's the best memory that you've made so far? What's the best memory that really just sums up what your relationship, your life is all about? That best memory so far in your marriage?
I don't know.
I love because I don't have a tight knit family, so I love, like, we travel and we try to make a couple of trips a year, and I love being with my wife when we travel. But I love when the kids, we're all as one together, because I feel like if we go somewhere and the kids not with us, I'm calling the kids like, hey, look at this, you should be here. So I think that to me is more of a family. I think that when all five of us together, that makes my day.
Okay, so it's the family that you've always wanted. And is there a special memory that stands out among all of that? Is there one vacation or one moment that really stands out in your mind?
For me, I think it was our honeymoon. I almost died on our honeymoon, but that was the most memorable.
Wait, now you almost died?
You want to tell them the story?
No. They had like this free timeshare thing.
That's the Notice tour
that she signed up for, and we were in the jungle. The guy didn't know English, and we didn't know where we was going, and we left the resort. So it was I thought I was dying to myself. So I'm like, I'm gonna die a couple of days after being married.
No, he had me jump off a cliff on our honeymoon.
Yeah. So wait, first, where did you go? Help us out.
Went to Cancun.
Okay, you went to Cancun, and you went on a safari. Did you go on a safari? What did you do?
No, we did a cenotes tour where we did what was this, like snorkeling, things like that. I don't swim, and he had me take off a cliff into the water, and
she had a life jacket on.
I thought I was dying.
And so, did you know that you were going to be jumping off the cliff before you did it, Coco? No.
So, we're all standing up there and he's like, he can swim, So he's like, okay, jump. You have to jump. You can't come on vacation and not experience it. So, I let him talk me into it and I thought I was dying. It took me forever to come back up out that water.
And so did you plan that knowing that she couldn't swim? Did you?
She planned it.
Did you plan that part of it? I guess
I didn't plan that part of it. Yes. No, I didn't plan that part, but it was fine. He kept saying he was going to save me because he could swim.
And I did.
He did.
Okay. All right. That's pretty memorable if you think you almost got it. That's
yes.
All right. So is there anything else that you would share? Listen, Marilyn Hamilton saying it's nothing like having someone to truly love you and need you, care for you, and be there for you. Does that resonate with the two of you?
Yes, it's a great feeling, honestly. We have our moments, but I wouldn't change none of it for the world. Like,
I think that for me, our greatest memory is yet to come. I think that in my mind, I cannot wait for her to open the shop up because that's her. You stop.
I'm just
her
saying,
little dream. So I can't wait for that day. So she'll be all to see her look on her face and all that,
Okay, Coco, go ahead and kiss him because that's how you're looking. Go ahead, kiss him. That's okay. There you go. Okay, very good, very good. And where do you see yourself in 5 years in this marriage? Where do you see what's next for this power couple? All these businesses and traveling and jumping off cliffs and
no more of that.
No more of that. Okay. What's next for the two of you?
I mean, I've always I want to do something like a mentorship program for boys. Really haven't ironed it out, but I've always been around helping people. So that's probably what, as far as me doing. And maybe a couple of nail salons. I don't know what.
Yeah.
What that.
Mm-hmm. And are there couples goals that you have outside of the business? Do you have goals for just the two?
Well, she keeps get the nail shop open that she gonna take care of me. So I'm like waiting on a helicopter or something, something real big.
Okay. What about you, Coco? Any marriage goals? You've been married 3 years. Any marriage goals?
Just for us to continue to, build the relationship, the marriage, and just to get stronger, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Before I let you go, I just want to give a little bit more advice to anyone that's listening. What would you say to couples that might be on the brink of a breakup?
Oh, pray.
I think that you got to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll get caught up in a moment. There can be a bad moment, but
that doesn't define.
Yeah, you had years of happiness. Yeah. So is it really worth it to throw it all away? And I understand, that people leave, and I mean some things. Some people aren't meant to be together because of whatever circumstances. But just ask yourself, do I see myself living this life without this person in my life?
Coco, you want to add anything to that?
I think that when I'm mad at Michael, I have to remember the things that attracted me to him in the beginning. And, I think about the love that I had for him in the beginning and why we're doing this. So I would say just think about what brought you two together.
Mm-hmm. And I'll close with this, Michael, because you are, you mentioned having been kind of a ladies' man. Now you're settled down and operating in a fidelity covenant. What would you say to brothers about how hard or easy it has been over these 3 years for you to do it? To encourage some brother out there who might be saying, Man, I don't know. I don't know if I can give up my player's license or my player's cap. What would you say to those brothers out there who might, haven't ever been married before and not sure that they could do it?
I've been asked this question a lot, so I'm glad you asked this question.
Okay.
My advice is always is that it does not come from you loving a woman. You have to love God first. And because the vow I took when I got married, telling to God, saying that, I'm going to cherish this woman, I'm not going to cheat on her and all of that. My vow to him is the most important.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that once you have a connection in a relationship with God and you honor that, then the rest is easy. But with not cheating comes maturity. So a lot of men cheat just because they're not mature.
Mm-hmm.
So once you grow up, then you come to realize you don't need as many women as you think you need.
Mm-hmm. You probably only need one.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said you're
Michael Kemp, Coco Kemp, thank you both so much. Happy
Thank
anniversary.
you so much.
May
for
the Lord
having
bless
us.
you with many, many, many more.
Thank you.
And may all of your power couple dreams and business dreams come true. Thank you so much for being our guest tonight.
We're going to come back on the 50th anniversary.
Absolutely. I love to have you on. I actually am working on a show to have on couples that have been married a few years with couples that have been married a lot more years, just to have some more dialogue. Because there are a lot of people in and around the Love and Stuff community that want to be married. So as many different exposures as we can give them to different types of couples, be it 3 years or 50 years, I think it's important for them to see. And so what happiness looks like. And so we wanted to show them that.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you
so much. All right, so that's Michael and Coco Kemp. I say power couple because Coco Kemp is as you heard her say, she has a 9-to-5 and in-home salon, getting ready to do a brick and mortar salon. Michael is a proprietor and owner of a funeral home, and I'm not even sure what other businesses. And so I wanted you, even though they've been married, some would say 3 years is not a long time. It's long enough for us to take a look at some interesting facts around divorce rates, that a lot of couples don't make it 3 years. I think it was about 29% of the 59% and counting marriages that end up in divorce. 29% of them happen within the first 3 years. That's a staggering number. And I'll have to publish that number. I know it's somewhere in some stats, but that's a high number. One divorce is high to me because I believe it's God's covenant of his expression of the love between a man and a woman as he designed it. And I know there are a lot of loves along the continuum, and we could have a discussion about all of those loves. I feel confident that he designed a specific path for love, but that his providence is so great and his grace is so great that he's allowed along the continuum a lot of different expressions of love as our capacity understands them or our capacity is willing to accept them. But I believe he had a specific design in mind relative to what would be the manifestation of love that he would consider parallel to Jesus and the church. And I know there are people that are not Christians in our Love and Stuff community, and we love you and respect you, but my prevailing belief is that the marriage is a parallel for God of Jesus's love for the church and how he gave himself for it. And so, and the church's response to that love is a parallel of the wife's love for the husband. Said that to say, I think it's important that we value every marriage because it is reflective, as you heard Michael say, of the vows that a man and a woman makes to God about this other person, and then to this other person in the presence of everyone else. And so I think that's important, whether it be the 29% or just one of the 29% of marriages that end early, that we should have concern, and we should show great examples, not perfect examples. I think Michael and Coco would tell you, not perfect examples, but their love is perfectly situated for them, and they're committed to working on it. And so I'm saying to everyone standing on, if I had a stool, I would stand on it to tell you that you can find love in this Love and Stuff community. You can find love on Facebook. And I challenge you to, number one, be open to it. You will not find love if you're not open to it. And don't expect love to find you if you're not open to it. Don't expect it. But if you're open to it, there are love interactions that are going down pathways and portals every day looking for you. You have to be open to it. You must first be open to it. You must be aware of what that love interaction is telling you and showing you. And if it's telling you something different than it's showing you, you must be aware of that as well. And you got to be open so that you're not just fearful. I think some healthy caution is good on a platform like Love and Facebook or any other platform. Healthy caution is good, but you got to be open. So that's number one. You got to be open to the love opportunity. And number two, you got to be willing to work at it. Michael said it is a job. Coco said it is hard. It is hard work, quote, unquote. You've got to work at it. You got to put in the work. And part of that work, you guessed it, my friends, is working on you. You got to work on you for the betterment of you. You heard Michael say, I had to work on me first before trying to do things for her. I had to work on me. You got to work on you. You got to work on your communication style, your ability to bring your authentic self to bear in a relationship, which is often difficult for people and more difficult for men normally. You've got to get in touch with your emotional intelligence and your ability to be self-aware and your ability to be socially aware and your ability to self-manage. You have to, in order to grow the relationship. So be open and be ready to work, and you will be ready for love. Thank you, Michael and Coco Kemps, for joining us. Thank all of you that have joined us, whether you are with us on YouTube. We saw some folks on YouTube, folks here on Facebook, on the Love and Stuff page, and on the Marcus R. Holmes page, and those that are on our newest platform, Twitch TV. We're starting to do a little bit more there. So all of these platforms that we're coming live to you through Restream, through Zoom. I appreciate everyone that has come to share with us. Keep the show going in the comments as you did last week's show. We're still responding to the comments. Some of you took it to the next level and emailed me or called me or texted me. And all of those are great to share your commentary, but drop it in the comments so that everybody can participate in the discussion. And we will be playing a new video this week of, it is not a new video, but it has found a resurgence, at least on TikTok, of a wedding crashing gone bad. And we want to get your feedback on that as well. I'm Marcus Holmes. It's 9:59. What an incredible show. I hope that you will click share Tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular Facebook friends to join in this discussion. The Kemps Journey of Love. It's something that you want to share with anybody that is considering marriage, anybody that's desiring marriage, and anybody that is marriage ought to watch this video and up your love game. Thanks so much. Danny Wyatt has joined us. Thank you so much, Lynn Shaw. Wishes you all a happy anniversary. Thank you all. Have a great evening.